There's been a murder on Netflix. Let's talk about the perfect couple.
Hello? Am I under arrest, or can I go get something to eat?
They're rich.
So Amelia's about to marry into one of the wealthiest families on Nantucket. Her disapproving future mother-in-law has spared no expense in planning what promises to be the premier wedding of the season until a body turns up on the beach. As secrets come to light, the stage is set for a real-life investigation that feels plucked from the pages of one of Greer Garrison's novels. And now, everyone is a suspect. Everyone in this snarky, rich, uppity family, and it was so hard to find someone to root for in this TV show because everyone, while not having the exact same personality, they all have the same sense of entitlement. I guess not everyone, but the main ones here, and especially our bigger stars, right? We have Liev Schreiber, we have Nicole Kidman. You can go even deeper, Dakota Fanning, Jack Rayner, who's one of my favorites. Honestly, I love him every time I see him. Now, he's really good in the role here, but again, he's just not a likable guy. Frankly, he's kind of a dick. Schreiber and Kidman, so snarky and nasty, and especially Kidman's character, man. Everything she does, every decision she makes, it's just hard to get on board with her or hard to resonate with her because some things happen here. Like any other character, I'd be like, man, I really care about what's happening to you. But here, I'm just like, yeah. And admittedly, this being like a darker, kind of satirical comedy in a way that may be the intentions from the filmmakers. You have Sean Levy in here, a couple of recognizable names behind the camera. So it was really nice to see a lot of creative creators involved. And this show at times has a lot of spark, has a lot of flair. It's a murder mystery dealing with a bunch of rich people. You can think of Knives Out. You can think of so many projects we've seen in the past. And admittedly, I keep saying that, I was kind of caught off guard with some of the twists and turns here. I had my sights locked in on one character, and then you're like, well, I guess you'll think it's somebody else. It's like, no, they've kind of ruled that out. So the story kind of caught me off guard, and I will sit back and say, maybe I'm not supposed to like any of these characters. I love movies and TV shows all the time that don't really feature a lot of likable characters, but there is a point in my brain to where people become too unlikable, and it starts to take away from the experience. So although there is some creativity within the mystery, it's just so hard to get on board with the people that we're dealing with, even though they're being played by awesome performers. So it's a murder mystery with creativity, though it lacks charm. I think it lacks the charm necessary to get you on board, get you hooked, and keep you hooked throughout 6 episodes. It's a limited series. Now, I will say, it was kind of an easy binge, to be honest with you. 6 episodes. Normally, I'm watching 8 to 10. Now, I've always been a fan of longer seasons in general, like 30-minute episodes, 23 episodes a season. For something like this, it didn't really need to be longer than it actually was. And frankly, there are so many moments that I felt were unnecessary to extend the runtime, even though it's only 6 episodes. And that's a crazy thing to say. It's also crazy to say, yeah, it was an easy binge, yet it should have only been 2.5 hours. But I feel as if it would have played better, and I wouldn't have had any of the pacing issues with that. That being said, it could have also rushed us through a lot of integral plot points, but maybe that would have been good because, again, it's hard to like people here. Now, I will say, certain character dynamics, really good. Dakota Fanning's character, her inability to impress Nicole Kidman. I'm going to use their actual names because they're very famous people, but that was pretty funny and some charm between the characters. You know, Jack Rayner, he's a dick here, but I liked his dynamic with certain characters, and even the people below them still kind of treating others in that way. But you also have our generic conventional police detective in here, but she is kind of seeing this through the eyes of how we are seeing it. So that is someone that I was rooting for. We don't spend a lot of time with her, but as she's getting people recounting the story that happens in the first episode, trying to put the puzzle pieces together, figure out, okay, a lot of these people seem like they could be guilty and or have a motive as to why they're doing this in the first place. But I can't figure out who did it because they're all jerks. And so that was really funny to see that through her perspective. I loved her character, and honestly, I thought the performance was really good. And again, they're going to prove you wrong along the way, but the mystery does get buried at a point. Buried? How do I say that? At a point to where it's more about the relationships and the dynamics and the social drama between the characters of that wealthy social class. And that starts to take up a lot of time to where the mystery, I'm not going to say it gets lost along the way, but we're focused more on this dialogue. And admittedly, some of those moments are really entertaining. Not charming, but entertaining and kind of funny. So dark comedy. It does have some comedy in there. That's really nice. And it's definitely a show you can throw on. And while you got to pay attention because it is a mystery, you don't have to lock in as hard because, again, you may not find investment into a lot of these characters. And the show does a nice job of keeping you on your toes. That being said, I like when something like this maybe has more to say. And I'm not saying I'm docking the score because it doesn't have a lot of impressive commentary on social class. We've seen a lot of, especially movies the last couple of years that has had a lot to say. But I thought this show would have a little bit more to say. Sometimes it is present. It may get lost underneath the rest of it. Again, the dynamics between the characters. But I wish there was more. And I wish this show left me feeling more impacted than it actually did once we started to wrap it up in the final 2 episodes. Again, keeps me on my toes, which is really nice. But I walked away like, yeah, that was not as, I wasn't as invested as I wanted to be while watching. That first episode, while a lot happens really fast, they do a nice job of just throwing you into this situation. You hear the scream, there's been a murder, and you're in it. You're in it, and you're kind of on board throughout the next 6 episodes. So I don't want to make it seem like I had a horrible time with this. I absolutely didn't. It just didn't impact me like I wanted it to. So I want to know what you all think about The Perfect Couple, trending on Netflix right now. Is this a show that you got super invested in? Did you enjoy the mystery aspect, the character aspect, or just what it had to say about social class? Leave that in the comments down below. Join me this year as we're watching all things on streaming and Netflix, and we've got The Penguin coming up, Agatha, all of those things. And drop a like if you enjoyed the video. The Perfect Couple attempts to be a successful dark comedy while weaving in a convoluted murder mystery with numerous unlikable characters. Not without its interesting moments and unexpected twists, these ideas ultimately crumble due to its lack of having something interesting or original to say. We've seen a lot of projects like this, and I don't know if this one was able to stand out, but again, the cast is really good. Rayner, Fanning, Kidman's always good. Liev Schreiber is always good, so at least that was really entertaining to watch. What are you watching on Netflix right now? Do you have a recommendation for me? I'll be back soon with some Oscar predictions. Let's go.